So we're going to talk about how to overcome low self-esteem. Unfortunately, a lot of guys just don't have high self-esteem. A lot of people don't have high self-esteem, but men used to have higher self-esteem, higher confidence. Self-esteem and confidence is absolutely crucial to getting anything that you want in life. Having goals is so important, and it doesn't matter how big or how small the goal is, okay? The most important thing is that you just have a goal. Having a goal in itself is the beginning of destroying low self-esteem. That's how I was able to build up my confidence, okay? Because when I was young, I kind of thought, I was a freak. I really did. I went to a very rich high school. Super rich high school. Kids were driving BMWs with their learner's permit. I was just, poor kid. Mom was a lunch lady. No dad. Trying to just get by in life. Not really any guidance. Not being raised well. Nothing too wonderful. But the one thing that it really was my saving grace was when I was a freshman in high school, I was really involved in my youth church. And they had these on-stage like acting competitions. And so my first year, I joined the acting competition, and we didn't win, right? We lost the first year, but we got up there. We did advance to the national level, and then we didn't end up winning. Then the next year, I was in the acting competition again, and as a sophomore, we had won first place. This is called the National Fine Arts Festival with the Pentecostal churches. And the National Fine Arts Festival, I won first place with my group in the state of Florida. First place with youth choir, and I'd done some other smaller groups that I won first place in. And then we all got advanced to the national level. And then that year, I was competing literally against thousands of people. We ended up winning the national level, and I was at the age of 16. And this was a goal we had set from the beginning. We had some problems, like one of the members dropped out. We had to replace the members, add another member. We had to change a bunch of different things. But at the end of the day, we won. That kind of put a little pep in my step. I was 16. I was a national champion. And I started walking around. I was just like, I'm a national champion. Like, I've done this. Was so used to winning at that point. And then the next year, we won state level again, but I didn't win the national level because it's really hard to win the national level. And then the next year, I won the state level again, but I didn't win the national level. What ended up happening is I won all these medals. I did stand-up comedy. I won first place in the state of Florida for Christian stand-up comedy. And then to top it off, I got third place in the nation for Christian stand-up comedy as well. And after that, because after high school you can't compete anymore, I started my own group, and it was an all-men's group. It was called No Ma'am, the National Organization of Men Against Amazonian Masterhood. I don't know if you guys remember that from Married with Children, but we were called No Ma'am. And we won second place in the state of Florida, and the only reason we did not win first place is because the group that won first place, the coach was also the judge of the competition. So she was the coach, but she was also the judge, and she gave her team a perfect score. All of these successive wins kept on adding up and adding up and adding up into my life. It does not matter the goal. I told you guys about this compound effect. You get these micro wins. Even if you're just saying, you know what, my goal today is just to talk to one girl. Even if you just talk to like a 45-year-old divorcee, then right off the bat there, you're going to start getting this boost in confidence. It doesn't happen overnight, but what you're going to start realizing is your goals are going to start getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it's going to start getting easier to you. It's very important for me to always have goals, because when I don't have goals, I become wandering in the void. And for you guys that have low self-esteem, this is the most efficient way to build concrete self-esteem. After that, it just became a chain reaction for me. all the way up to the age of 33 now. Even this, like the launching of this radio show, the Body Language Mastery, just another solid victory for me because I'm helping you guys win. For me, it just keeps going, it keeps going, it keeps going. But if you have no goals and you're just kind of dragging your feet through life or just thinking about something, maybe I'll do this, I'll try it one day, you're wasting time, you're wasting your potential. And like I said, this life is very, very simple, guys. You're either progressing or you're regressing. You got to be progressing at all times. You must be progressing. If you have low self-esteem and you're not setting goals, just know that you're doing an extreme detriment to yourself. Extreme detriment. The low self-esteem epidemic is serious. A lot of guys just don't believe in themselves. They don't love themselves. They don't have any type of value for themselves. If you don't have high self-esteem and you don't believe in yourself, then like, what are you gonna do? How is a girl gonna take you seriously? Women aren't gonna like you. You're not gonna be able to accomplish your goals. When you have low self-esteem, people will take advantage of you. You won't be able to accomplish anything in life. Because you know what they say, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe in your dreams, then nobody will. At the end of the day, you're in this thing by yourself. And if you have low self-belief, if you have low self-confidence, if you don't believe that you can make things happen, they're not. There's no. You have to irrational. You have to be crazy about thinking positive and lovingly about yourself. You have to. Okay? Take yourself on a date. Go buy yourself something very expensive, crazily expensive, something very nice for yourself. Treat yourself well. The majority of people fail in this life because they have low self-esteem. They think that they can't do it. They think that their dreams are impossible. They think that the plan that they make is incomplete. They're waiting for the perfect moment. Nothing in life is perfect. Life rewards those who take action because most people are stuck in this paralysis by analysis. They're trying to analyze everything perfectly, making that perfect moment, and then they take their shot. And that perfect moment never comes. And then they're just perpetually stuck in this vicious cycle until you break out of it yourself. If you don't have high self-esteem, you're never going to take chances. You're always going to be somebody's bitch. Cat Williams said this, and it's very true. This is before he went crazy. Life is a game of pimps and hoes. You're either pimping or you're hoeing. You're either the winner or you're the loser. You're either the guy in control or you're working for the guy in control. And where do you think the guy with low self-esteem lies? You ever see that guy who you just think, man, that guy's so rude. He's such a jerk. He's so loud. He's so mean. He's such an asshole. Why do all the girls go to him? I'm a nice guy. I do this. I do that. I do everything. Why am I not rewarded? Because that guy has higher self-esteem than you. High enough self-esteem to be himself, to do whatever he wants. Which leads me to my third point on how to overcome low self-esteem. You have to stop saying anything negative about yourself. You know, you have to be realistic. That is a good way to bullshit yourself. Because you're saying you have to be realistic because you think all these other people are better than you. And the reality is you don't know what other people's opinion of you is. You don't know the opinion of all people. All the people in the world, they cannot be thinking negatively of you. I mean, I alone don't think negatively of you. So if I don't, certainly there must be other members. But yeah, the thing is, chances are if you have low self-esteem, you're probably talking poorly about yourself. Or you're probably, tell me if you guys do this. How many of you guys have sat around and thought about negative situations that occurred in the past and you keep on replaying them over and over and over in your head? That's a thing that I don't have anymore. If at any time that negativity will pop into your mind, you have to cut it out immediately. Just like if I walked up to you and I reached into your back pocket, I pulled out your wallet and I just started taking your money and just started ripping it in half and setting it on fire and laughing in your face. You would knock me out. You would hit me with a baseball bat if you had a baseball bat in your hand. The same way that you would instinctively knock me out and beat me down with a baseball bat, you have got to knock out toxic behavior within yourself. That is poison. You cannot entertain those thoughts whatsoever. The whole world is trying to bring you down. The last thing you need to do is to be bringing yourself down from the inside. And this is how you stop it. Anytime you catch a negative thought coming to your mind and you catch yourself in it, you have to snap out of it and be like, stop, and start reflecting on some of your most biggest wins. One of my biggest wins in my life was when I got my acceptance email to come to Japan. I remember it was so fucking hard, but I set that goal for myself. And I remember I got the email and I immediately started talking shit on Facebook. I immediately started talking shit on Facebook. I was like, oh, you hate f***ers. I told you I could f***ing do it. I'm going to Japan. Sayonara. Don't let them win. That's a thing. That's a psychological thing called rumination. When you sit around and you think about the past and you're constantly thinking about what is going on in the negative past of yours, like reflecting the time you f***ed up, reflecting the time you got dumped, reflecting the time you may have gotten so drunk and you pissed all over yourself. All that stuff, that's a waste of energy, okay? It stops you from doing everything you ever wanted to do. And initially, it will be difficult to break the pattern, but as long as you're diligent and you keep on trying to break it, you will break it. But a lot of the dating problems you guys have, it traces back to low self-esteem. You're too afraid to approach a girl. You're too afraid to go on a date. You want to know what's the perfect way. That's why you guys come to me. You're just trying to seek for perfection. Oh, I need this. I need to know, does she do this body language, then this body language, then this body language, then she said this, and then this body language. You want 99 confirmations before you can take a shot, and you're too afraid to get rejection. The way I look at it, if I get rejected by a girl, I honestly think in my heart of hearts, that bitch is just dumb as fuck. She doesn't know what's good for her. She has no idea to catch a winner with her eyes. She's probably going to end up with 100 cats. They're all going to shit in her hair when she's sleeping. And then she's going to just get hit in the head by a meteor one day. Okay, that's the irrational love I have for myself. Because at the end of the day, you need to have that love, that self-belief, that self-cherishment in order to get all your goals. In order to even have the balls, to have the audacity to set goals, starts with self-esteem. No self-esteem equals no love, equals no sex. Why do you think some of these beta dudes stay in relationships with a girl that verbally abuses them, tells him he's a loser every day, everything he does is bad? First of all, that is a woman with low self-esteem projecting it onto you. Second of reason is the guy stays with her because he doesn't feel like he is good enough to replace her. Half of the battle is already won because you're a man. Being a man, you're the most dominant planet-dwelling creature we have here. They have that stupid song by Beyonce, Who Runs the World? Girls. That can't be any much more of a bigger lie than I've ever heard in my entire life. Okay, men run this world. All the massive major inventions have been by men. Car, nuclear fusion, nuclear fission, the internet, the camera, Tesla, SpaceX, PayPal. Look at all these monumentally humanity-changing things that have been invented. And look who has invented it. It's men. The fact that you're a man alone, you should be walking around like, I am the shit. I am f***ing awesome. That's what I do. I can be a homeless person, but I will be a homeless man, and nobody's going to f*** with me because somebody comes, I'll knock them the f*** out because I have manpower. But again, there seems to be a lot of low self-esteem out there. Big part of it, you got governments, you got media constantly trying to demonize men. You got commercials telling you men are evil. You got propaganda telling you men are evil. And this is only in the West. This doesn't happen in Japan. This doesn't happen in Asia. This doesn't happen in India. This doesn't happen in South America. This is a primary big problem in the Western world. But you have to realize that you are worthy. and you have to actively start taking action to change yourself. Bear, let me tell you something about my ex-girlfriend. Her name was Michiko, or as I like to call her, Bitchiko. And Bitchiko was a crazy. And Bitchiko, boy oh boy, was the sex great with that psychopath. She actually literally did have borderline personality disorder. She used to cut herself on her thigh. The Japanese people cut themselves on their thigh so you can't see it in public. Extremely low self-esteem. And I always tell her my dreams. Like, my first dream that I told her was, like, I want to make an Airbnb, and I think I could become superhost, and I think I can make a really good Airbnb and create a wealth-generating system of, you know, 1,000 to 3,000 US dollars net profit per month. That's what I told her. I was like, yeah, I think I can do that. She told me this. She said, you have to realize that you're crazy. She says, you're like a guy telling everybody that you're Superman and everybody thinks you're crazy. She wanted me to shut down modern life dating. She wanted me to get a job and be a little corporate slave for the rest of my life. Why? Because she was an alcoholic loser. Now, God bless her. She had gone through a terrible childhood, you know, had an abortion when she was 16, confessed to me about it in tears, had been run through by more than 50 dudes. I was just ensnared by that toxic borderline personality disorder. I'll be honest, I got caught up in it. The pussy was great, but it wasn't that phenomenal because I dumped her. Because let me tell you something. If you're going to come tell me some shit about how I'm not the man, you're going to try to break me down, one, I'm going to come right back at you. And two, you will not get the privilege, which is my presence. This is why I tell you guys, go where you are celebrated, not where you are tolerated. If your friends don't like you, f them. Tell every single one of them to go to hell and go hang out with some people that like you. I don't care if it's a group of 85-year-old women who carry around candy in their purse all the time and they just giving you candy all the time. If that squad of 85-year-old grandmas loves you and they treat you well, you go hang out with them every day. The last thing you need to do is be hanging around with somebody who's constantly on you, who's constantly telling you, what are you doing, bro? Why don't you like stop being such a chauvinist, man? Talking to girls. What are you talking to girls in the street, bro? What are you, a rapist? But I'm just saying, like, I'm giving you concrete evidence from my life, how I used to have low self-esteem and how I overcome it, and the things that I noticed that amplified the low self-esteem. Because that right there is so important. If you're hanging around with a bunch of low self-esteem bums, you're going to be a low self-esteem bum yourself. That's how you overcome low self-esteem. One, you take action. You set goals for yourself. All right, even if your goal is just walk around the block. Like, I'm going to walk around the block at 5 p.m. And you get out there, and at 5 p.m. you walk around the block, and you come back home, you're like, I did it. I set a goal, and I did it. Next thing might be like, hey, you know what? I want to get my passport. You apply, you get your passport, and you're like, I did it. And then you're going to start naturally as a man. You're going to start increasing the level of difficulty, and you're going to continue to get these bigger and bigger and bigger wins. Next thing you know, you're at the top. I'm still pushing personally. Number 2, stop rumination. Stop looking back on these negative parts of your life. Stop that, stop that, stop that. Anything negative that enters your mind, even if it's negative media, negative music. Dude, I listen to the same 5 songs or Japanese anime music with no lyrics, all right? I only let positivity enter my mind because your mind is just a computer. That's all it is. And whatever data you fill in, sends out. It's just like food if you guys are working out. You eat food, you look like shit. The third, last one, is your positive words. Only speak positive about yourself. Completely banish all negativity that comes out of your mouth. Don't say anything negative about yourself. It needs to be rule of law. Like if I were to come and reach into your back pocket and try to steal some money, you would absolutely stop me. You have to absolutely stop negative words from coming into your brain and negative words from going out to your mouth. Stop negative thoughts, all of that stuff. But most importantly, like our man Arnold Schwarzenegger said, he said, set goals for yourself.